If you're working in IT industry, but you are not a technical person, you can be a designer, you can be a manager or a salesperson. Sometimes when software engineers talk, you might feel yourself like a dinosaur because you don't understand what that term means, what they're talking about. I decided to make a video for you to explain you most common 10 terms in IT so you will understand what they're talking about. Let's jump into it. Frontend and backend. As a basic description, frontend is something what you see, backend is the way how it works. When you open any website, your browser, Chrome, Mozilla, Opera, doesn't matter, all in internet browsers. It starts connection from your computer and it goes and connects to the server, and server is also another computer where that website is located. And when I say website is located, I mean website is a bunch of code files which dictates what to show and how to work. So your browser starts a connection to the server, and server gets your requests like what you want to look at, which page is it, what kind of content you're looking for. It analyzes from your request, it connects to other parts of this application and creates a result for you, but the result is also a code, and sends that result back to you, and your browser gets the code files and also content itself. Now your browser knows what to show you because it got it from the server, and it also has instructions about how to show you that. Design, colors, placement of text, image, it's all being decided in frontend. Imagine it as a restaurant, okay? You're going to a restaurant, they give you a menu, you sit, you look, you say to waiter that you want this thing, and then waitress goes to the kitchen, says it to the kitchen staff. After a while, they bring you the meal. If we go through this example, menu where you picked everything, all the meals, and told it to the waiters, this was the front-end part. Processes which were happening in kitchen, how they were cooking it, how they firstly heard from the person that there is a customer, they want this thing, and based on your order they started cooking it. All of this process which happens in the kitchen is a backend. And when that meal comes back to you, it comes in specific design, right? So it's all the front end. So that meal is also front end. So I hope it's clear. So we can maybe list some of technologies. When we talk about front end, we say it's HTML, CSS, JavaScript. When we talk about back end, we say PHP, we say Python, we say Java, we say also JavaScript because modern JavaScript is also works in backend. It's more complicated, okay? Let's focus on these topics. Yes, these are languages which are used in this side and this side. API. When you start connection and front end sends the information, this request, it sends it in specific format which will be quickly understandable for backend. It sends in specific structure to the specific points, and backend expects them, and when backend gets specific commands, it starts to analyze what is needed to do, and it starts its process, and it again sends through API whatever is needed for the front-end part. Basically, API is like that waiter. He doesn't need to say exact words which customer said. He can talk in completely different language to make this connection as faster as possible so they don't waste time on that. That's basically how API works. And imagine also this restaurant takes online orders. When this online order happens, it's in completely different way, right? There is no the person coming into restaurant and saying something. It can be some mobile application, it can be by the call. Waiter is still the one who needs to take order. He should give that command parameters of the meal to the kitchen in the same way, because kitchen doesn't care if people are ordering it from online, by call, by mobile application, or they're sitting in a restaurant. The only thing what they need to care is to analyze this request properly and give the proper meal. That's the whole point of it. There is no any specific language to talk about API. Basically, it's being built by the backend, but we can't say any specific language for the API. Let's talk about programming language, libraries, frameworks. Maybe you already heard about these words. Let's come back to our example about the restaurant. We have their stuff which works in a kitchen. When they take order from the waiter, they don't need to communicate in common language. They have their own specific language, and they have a main chef, and that main chef already decided all the processes for all the meals, about all ingredients. He wrote all of this instruction, what to do after what to take from where, how to mix it, how to prepare it, how to cook it, and how to deliver it to the waiter. Everything is written line by line. So this language of this text is completely different. It's partially understandable, but it has its own grammar, it has its own syntaxes, it has its own rules, it has its own limitations. It's the most efficient way for this team in the kitchen to quickly handle the order and prepare the meal. This is what is the programming language. Of course, in this example, the main chef is our software engineer who wrote all of this code as instruction for this application. So what is the library? There is some sauce for some meals. The kitchen people, they don't need to cook that sauce. They might just buy it because it already has all ingredients what they need for specific meals. They just buy it ready-made and they are using in the process. It has limited functionalities. It does very limited things. Engineers are using those libraries in parts of application. It doesn't mean that developer steals something or copy-paste something. There are just too many ways to create same meal. You can create that sauce from the scratch, or you already know there is a sauce which already has everything what you need. You just get that sauce and use it in your meal. But when we talk about frameworks, framework is like ready-made meal kit where everything already organized. It's for specific category of meals. It has its own limitation and it has its own rules. When you're using library, you are adding the library into your code, like you are adding some sauce into your meal. But when you are working with framework, there is already some structure for specific meals. You are cooking something inside of it. You're changing some stuff, you're adding some ingredients, and when we talk about code, it's the same thing. If you're using framework, there are already a lot of codes which designed for the specific needs, which is usable for your software, and you are taking that framework and then you're writing your code inside of that framework. In one side, it gives you time. You're winning a time. You don't need to build a lot of stuff. Framework already provides you, but same time, framework has its own rules. You just need to build in the way how it was planned by this framework. You can't do everything what you want, okay? Cook this meal in a way how it's being dictated by the producer of this meal kit. Database is like a fridge in that kitchen. It has its own sections, it has its own areas. They're storing their data. They're not just giving you everything what's in that kitchen. It depends on the order, what customer wants. They take something from that fridge, they cook with these ingredients, they store everything what they need. In database, everything is connected with everything. It's not like you put randomly some meat in down section, you put random vegetables all around and some sauces here and there. No, our fridge is designed very smart. If we have some fish section, we have specific sauces somewhere which is related to that fish. When kitchen staff needs to cook some fish meal, they already know what sauce to take and for which fish to use that sauce. Databases are like tables, it's like spreadsheets. Software takes that information and shows to the end result. So the database is the place where we store all content, and our software uses those pieces whenever it needs to create the result for frontend. Stack is basically a list of technologies which is being used in this software. Different technologies and different programming languages and different libraries, different frameworks. There are so many of them. To make it easier, you say your tech stack, which language you use, because you don't need to use everything in one project, okay? You have specific needs and you are choosing specific programming language for your system. Tech stack is basically a list of technologies which you used in your software. Well, there are some names. For example, MERN stack. MERN means MongoDB as a database, Express as the backend in JavaScript, and there is React also for JavaScript, but it's in frontend. And as a runtime, we're using Node.js, so that's why they call it MERN. Or LAMP stack, Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP. There are a lot of different stacks and names. Actually, you don't need to remember it. I just explained you the word tech stack, so you know what is this about. Git. Git is version control system. It's like our main chef needs to add new meals into system. Sometimes he needs to change some stuff in ingredients of existing meals. We want it to be done in a way so it will not break something, or our chef will be able to get back previous changes. Let's assume in one meal there was 1 spoon of olive oil. Our chef takes that ingredient paper, that code file, change and says, we should not use here 1 spoon of olive oil. We should use here half spoon of sunflower. He just needs to change only one ingredient. He doesn't need to change everything. He changed just one line and it's being served. After a few days, our chef decides that no, half spoon of sunflower didn't went good. Let's go back to olive oil, but let's, instead of 1 spoon of olive oil, use half spoon. This Git version control system will let him quickly find that change where he done it and quickly change it. Maybe in the future he might change that part again, or he can go back in the time and pick the previous change and mix them together. Git is a system which lets you to kind of save each change in your code. You can go back anytime to that. It also gives you the way of organization of your change, so you know what was added after what, how the software was evolving. This is very important and very useful tool. CICD is continuous integration and continuous delivery. Chef, when he changes anything in ingredients, the system should not stop. The kitchen still should continue working. CICD is the process thanks to which you can continuously improve your solution while not making your customers, your clients to wait. So you continuously improve your system, but no one notices any problem about that. And customer, whoever is using this software, will not see some blank screen. That's all CI/CD about. DevOps is, well, people say that it's a culture, but actually let's be grounded. Let's come back to reality. We call DevOps the people. DevOpsers are the people who basically create that CI/CD integration as well, but not only. They build all the system. They are responsible for this fridge in the kitchen, for the way how these technologies are working inside of it. Toolset of this kitchen stuff, the way of communication with the API and with the end customer, all of this system, each parts of this system is being built by DevOps. DevOps doesn't create those instructions, okay? He creates this system, installs everything, sets everything together. Fridge should not be in the toilet room, okay? A fridge should be in the kitchen. It's like DevOps is who is responsible for that, and fridge should be in proper size. CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous delivery, should work properly, and how it should work, how it should get new changes from our chef and add them into existing papers, how all of this system should be installed and set. All of these works are being done by DevOps. Code review. Code review is basically a process what happens between engineers to ensure that this code will not break anything in the system. Imagine that we don't have only one main chef. We have few main chefs, at least two, because it's kind of standard. You should at least have two engineers so they can review each other. So basically this code review process is when we get the feature request that we need to add this option, this functionality. Imagine it's like in a restaurant, we don't have any vegan meals. One main chef creates the ingredients list for one specific meal. He used I don't know, again, 2 spoons of olive. Another master chef looks at it and says, oh, you know, 2 spoons will be too much. Maybe we should add only 1 spoon, or maybe it should be only half, or maybe we can think about something different. Maybe we should add the avocado or some, I don't know, grapes, something else. This is basically what happens in code review process. Another person looks at the existing code which is written for this new feature, analyze it, and thinks and looks and says, maybe we can change it in this way, or he just says, okay, it's good, let's push it. The main important thing here, code review process, it's not judgment process, okay? It's not like, aha, I will find a new mistake. No, code review is mostly like a process of polishing new code, okay? Because we are human beings, we can forget some stuff. This is the way how even engineers are learning. Each person brings some new vision and another person says, okay, it's kind of makes sense. Maybe I will use same strategy on different code as well. That's why code review is very important process, and it assures that there are at least 2 people who check this change. And there is also another thing, another term which you might heard, it's Agile. Agile is methodology under which these engineers are working and creating new and new features. It means you don't need to work for months and months for something big, for some big feature. You are taking that and you're dividing it into smaller tasks. We call it usually tickets. You are creating smaller tickets and you're dividing them between different people. Those tickets also should be ordered in a specific way, so people will not block each other, but actually it's very common thing. Blocks are happening always, and you should just properly organize those blockers. You just know that this function needs to be done only after this function. Agile is a methodology for organizing this process of continuously adding new and new features instead of waiting for one big new implementation. So Agile is methodology of continuously improving your software with your team. These were 10 terms which I wanted to explain you. I hope it was clear. If you still have any question mark in your head, you can write it in comment section. I hope it was very useful video for you. You can share it with other people which don't understand some terms. I hope it's very helpful. Don't forget to put like, subscribe, write down comments, and Have a nice day. Bye.